So I'm looking at some work that's been submitted to me. That's this copy of visitor L2 file, and here's the original data file that was issued. I'm going to work through the question and actually resolve it on my one to demonstrate some of the issues that come up on this question. Okay, so find the question. So the question starts on page 4 of the paper, which is which paper is it? January 2012, I believe. Yeah, January 2012, level 2, Pearson's ICT paper. So the question I'm looking at is section B, task 2, costs. And it says London Exchange Visits uses the most popular attractions. The file visitor L2 contains 2 worksheets. So it's got the full group and the small group worksheets. Open the worksheet full group in the file visitor L2. So make sure I'm clicked on full group here. And this one here already done some work on this, but there are some problems with it. If I look immediately, I can see there's a problem because the entry cost on this one, which is unchanged, starts with £7.50 or 7.5, and then on my one it goes down to 15.3. But the next one on this is £7.50. So I'm assuming someone's replicated this value down. So if I were to be working on this and then replicate this by using a little square handle, what would happen is it would just copy 7.5 all the way down, and I suspect that's what's happened. I'm just going to undo that, which of course means that the cost for group is going to be identical because it uses that in the calculation. Okay, so open the worksheet, enter your name, candidate number, and centre number in the footer. To add a footer, and we just go to a different view. We go to the page layout view, scroll down to the bottom, and put our details in. For the training, we don't need to put all those details in, but I could put the other details in these boxes here. Once you've done that, come out of the box you're editing, just click on any other cell once. That will allow you to then press these buttons again. You want to go back to normal down at the bottom there. Okay, so you can't see it at the moment, but if I go to File and Print, you'll see at the bottom here is, sorry, it's come up at the top, it's on the header, but it's there. Okay. And format the data so that it's clear and easy to understand. Now, this question's done that very well. They've put borders around. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is make all my columns the right width. So I've done that, and I'm just going to put borders all the way around, which obviously the person this knows is right. So I'm going to highlight my headers. I'm going to make the text bold, and then finally I'm just going to do the columns again, just the column widths again. Now I've got a bit more on screen. I can see, for instance, Pirate Cove there, Pirate Cove. Now there's another problem I can see here because Pirate Cove Blue Water on this one has got LZ1 next to it, and it started off with PC1. So this is a problem to do with the sort, the way the sort was done. So what I suspect happened is that the sort, it says sort the data into alphabetical order of attraction, and what I suspect happened is the person selected that, done their sort, which is over here. Sorry, I just clicked that and turned that off. So I'm going to maximize this to go back to my home tab, sort and filter. Now, because just that one column's selected, if I do a sort A to Z, I get this warning. And if I just click on continue, what it does, it just sorts this one. What this warning is saying is, hang on, you've got other data here. Do you want to include that in your sort? And you should always, if you're given that, you generally want to expand the selection. If I don't, what happens is I do the sort, and then suddenly these have become unhitched from the code that goes with them. So instead of having PC1 next to it, it's now got LZ1. And the reason that happened is because I just sorted this one column. I'm going to undo that. And I'll show you again. If I do the sort and filter, sort A to Z. If I expand the selection and click on sort, now my Pirate Cove Blue Water has PC1 next to it. So it's really important when you're doing a sort, you must select all of the table. Okay, so I've done that sort anyway. I've sorted the data into alphabetical order of attraction. And a quick word on that sort, what I tend to do is I tend to just select the whole table like that, and then I tend to use custom sort to say I want to sort by attraction, A to Z, OK. And that will do the same thing. So the next thing it says is calculate the cost for a full group of 24 for each attraction. And in this other paper, let me just go over here. Sorry, in this other one I've got here, they have actually done the calculation, C2, so whatever's in this column, look at the entry cost per person, multiplied by 24, and that's where the 24 has come from. It's come from that. So we asked us to calculate cost for a full group of 24 for each attraction. Now, you probably can't see. Let me come out of this. So I'm going to zoom in quickly on this, so it shows up. But if I look at that formula, it says equals sum C2 times 24, and if I just do equals in this one, sorry. I'm going to edit this one and put the answer in here. But I'm not going to use the sum. If I do equals C2 times 24, you'll see that I get the right answer still. All sum does, and it's very important you remember this, all sum does is adds the numbers in the brackets together. That's all it does. So if I do, for instance, if I go equals sum bracket this, or from there to there, so these two numbers, so I want to do a sum of those, it just adds them together. So 16 plus 8 is 24.32, 24. So it's just an addition. That's all the sum does. If you use it around a multiplication, division, or subtraction, it does nothing. And in fact, it will cost you a mark in the exam potentially. So if you're not sure, you can always do the sum. So we can go, well, I'm not sure if this is a sum. What a lot of people do is they tend to use sum to mean do a calculation. In Excel, you literally just need the equal sign to do that. Equals sum, so it gives me the same answer, but I can test that if I zoom in a bit. I can test whether I need that sum. So I've gone into the formula. I'm going to take off the brackets, and I'm going to take out the sum. So I'm now left with C2 times 24. If I get the same answer, I don't need the sum. So it's always worth checking that just to make sure. Now I've got my answer, I can replicate that down. And I've now got the answers. But you notice on this one, obviously the answers are all 180 because you're just multiplying this number by 24 each time, so you're always going to get the same answer. And you may notice my my codes are all intact, so LZ1, PC1, and so on in the right place. So this is problematic. This was because of the sort and also because of replicating that value down. Okay. With these, if you're in an exam situation and you do something like this and you don't notice till the end, probably the easiest thing to do is just go back to the start and just quickly redo it. So, okay, so we've now got those values. We've calculated the cost for a full group of 24 for each attraction. They asked a group of young people to put the attractions in order of preference. Highlight the three most popular visitor attractions. Now, how do I know what this popularity is? Well, the entry cost isn't going to tell me, the cost of the group isn't going to tell me, but the number of votes could. So what I need to do is basically find the top three values here. I can do that manually. It's a short list of numbers, so I can work my way through and go, well, 20 is the highest number, so I want to highlight that. And if they ask you to highlight something, then I would say just use the yellow highlighter, which is what this paper's done here. And then 20, what's the next number down? 18, so Windsor Castle. And then the third lowest is, third highest is Tower of London, so I'm going to highlight that. And you can see, because these were sorted separately from the data, they don't necessarily match what's in mine. So for instance, London Zoo is listed as being 20 votes, but actually the 20 votes is for Buckingham Palace. So, and this is the sort of thing you don't notice it until the end, if you notice it at all. And by then, you've done so many other things, it's not worth just undoing. You're better off starting with a clean slate. So we've highlighted the 3 most popular attractions. Okay, now the next question says, discounts are given if the number of visitors in the group is equal to or more than the discount group size. So we've got some information there. We've got that we're going to give a discount, and we need to check the number of visitors. Well, there isn't a number of visitors on here. So, and actually the question is, open the worksheet small group. So I'm going to switch to that. I'm going to go to small group on this one. Now, so this one looks okay. We've got Canterbury Cathedral, staterooms. We've got the same information here. It goes a bit screwy over here. And the reason is because if we look at this calculation, we're working out what the price minus discount is here. So we're always giving the discount, basically, because we're not doing any check to see whether they should have a discount. So we're working this on the basis of this is the discounted price for a group of 17. So we've got, if I zoom in, so we've got the sum again. I'm going to get rid of that just to make things a little bit clearer. We don't need that. So I've got a sum D, and I'm going to just replicate that. And you'll notice nothing changes. Values don't change. So I've got a calculation of D2, which is here. So the price minus discount times the number of visitors. That's sensible. If we only needed to work out what the price was for a discount price for each group, that would be fine. However, the question goes like this. It says, discounts are given if the number of visitors in the group, so the number of visitors in the group, zoom in here a bit. So the number of visitors in the group, so I'm going to need to use this column to check whether that's equal to or more than the discount group size. So I need to say, well, this is the rule. If this number is bigger than or equal to this number, then they pay this price. Otherwise, they pay the full cost. And that's what that question is saying. And we know it's saying that because it's got the word if in it. Discounts are given if the number of visitors in the group is equal to or more than the discount group size. So let's work this through in steps. The easy way to do this is we're going to use a function called the if function. And all if does is says, if this is true, whatever you're comparing, so if you're saying if 1 equals 1, if that's true, then do this. If it's not true, do something else. So you can think of it as a simple yes or no decision making formula. Okay. And we're going to start by just using the if function. So I'm going to type this out and then I'm going to show you another way to do it. So equals if, and as I type if, you see it comes up on this list of functions. The little fx next to it means function. I'm going to double click on if. And now on your screen, if you're doing this, you can probably see it says here if logical test. The logical test is the first bit. We need to know what we're comparing to what. So in our question, it says discounts are given if. So I'm going to start from the word if in this question. If the number of visitors, so where am I going to get my number of visitors? Well, that's where my numbers of visitors is, isn't it? So if whatever's in F2 is equal to or more than, so I need to use the mathematical signs greater than and equal. That means greater than or equal. You may have used different symbols. We do that just because we don't have the other keys for different ways of writing greater than or equal to. So we just use greater than or equal. And if the question has an or in it, which this does, it says if the number of visitors in the group is equal to or more than the discount group size, we're going to have to use the greater than and an equal sign, or less than an equal sign if that's the way the question works. So what are we checking whether visitors is bigger than? Well, we're checking, going back to the question, is equal to or more than the discount group size. So I'm now comparing whatever's in there with there. If it's true that this is bigger than this, then we need to do something. And what I'm going to put in here is I'm going to say, I'm going to just type the word discount. I'm putting it in double quotes. Discount. Okay. And that's come up on this hint thing. It says value if true. So if this comes back as true, i.e. F2 is bigger than E2, Then I'm going to put the word discount in the cell. Otherwise, I'll put a comma in to move on to the next bit. I'm going to put no discount. Okay, this is not the answer to the question. This is just a way of working our way through. Okay, and it's come up with an error there, and the reason it's come up with the error is because I haven't put quotes at the end of no discount. Okay, so I put that, and now I can go through and just go, well, okay. Now, following the rule that I've used, if this is bigger than this, then we get a discount. If it's bigger than or equal to, so this one is equal to, it's not bigger than, but it is equal to, so we get a discount. 20 is bigger than 15, so we get a discount. 9 is not bigger than 10, so there's no discount there. And so on and so throughout these numbers. Now, we need to take this a step further. At the moment, we've just got discount in there, but what we need to do is, instead of just putting discount or no discount, we need to work out the cost. And the way we work out the cost is by taking the number of visitors, which is what the person did in this one, D2 times I7 by 17. And they've just, see what they've done it for each person, because they've written 17 in the first formula. That's now in every formula. So in this case, we're not multiplying the price minus discount times 10. We're multiplying it by 17. So that's obviously not going to work properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this formula, though, similar formula. I'm going to replace discount and the quotes with the calculation. So how do I calculate when there's a discount? How do I do the calculation? Well, I take the number of visitors and I multiply it by the discount price. And for the no discount, I'm going to delete all of that, including the quotes, and I'm going to do the same calculation, number of visitors times, but this time I'm going to do it by the full cost per person. Okay, so we can see, as I copy that down, we've now got a range of numbers that match. Now, you can do all that manually. I'm going to show you a quick way of doing it without doing all the typing, remembering where things go. If we go to equals if bracket, or equals if, and double click on the if, once we've got a function written in there, we can just go to the FX button here, which is the insert function, and that brings up a little table, a little screen, so we can add in stuff via fields instead of commas and brackets and stuff. And it's got 3 boxes here. The first box is the logical test, and that's the bit we did at the beginning, and according to the question where it says if, says when the question says if, you look after if, it says if the number of visitors, so we know we need number of visitors in there. So number of visitors is going to be on the same row. If the number of visitors is equal to, so or more than, we will start with more than or less, equal to or greater than or equal to, then the discount group size. So the discount group size on that row is there. And then if it's true, I want to do a calculation. I want to take that, the number of visitors, and I want to multiply it by the discount price. If it's not bigger than or equal to, then there's no discount, so we take the number of visitors, we multiply it by the full cost per person. Okay, and you can see here that it comes out with a formula result of £128.52. Click on that, I'm going to replicate that down, and that's now done. Obviously, I need to format some of these values. Let's have a quick look at this. Do I need to format? So this got an entry cost per person. I've just gone back to the full group just to make sure that all my money values are set as currency. So I'm going to go up to here, just select currency, and that makes them defaulted to 2 decimal places, which is usually what you want, unless the question says otherwise. So small group, yeah, all my money values are good there. So we calculate the cost for each group for each attraction, so that's good. And the reason I did that's 2 steps with that if statement originally was by doing that, it shows me that it's doing what it should do, because discount and no discount is easier to understand than a number. So by doing that discount, no discount, and then changing it afterwards, it makes it a bit easier. You know your if part of it's working, and it's just a matter of putting in what happens if it's true, what happens if it's false. You can also, by the way, you can also edit an if statement once if you've got a full if function in there, so equals if blah blah blah. It's got all of that in. If I just go to just click on it once and then click on the FX button, it brings up that box with these filled in for me. So if I want to make a change, I can go into there and do it rather than worrying about what I'm deleting and not deleting in the actual formula. So the next part of the question wants to right, London Exchange visit wants to know how much it will cost to visit each attraction. Create a suitable chart to show the group cost. So we're going to need to have that column in there for each attraction using the information in the small group worksheet. So it wants to know the group cost for what for each attraction. So it doesn't necessarily tell us, but we're going to want a line of text as well, a set of text as well. These numbers will represent the bars, how high the bars are, and the range of numbers the bars cover. The text here is going to describe what that bar is. That's all. So I'm going to take that column. Now, if I try to select the second column, it's going to remove the selection there. So what I need to do is I need to select the first bit of the data I want, which is in this case the attraction, and then I want to add the group costs to my selection. To do that, I hold down the control key after I've selected the first bit and then select the second bit. And make sure you've got the same number of rows or columns when you're doing that in each you want. So if you included the title here, you need to include the title here. If you don't include the title, then that's fine as well. But for 2-column tables like this one, you don't need to include the tiles. But for 3 columns or more, you need to include them. So we've got our data. I'm going to go to insert and insert a simple column chart, and I'm going to move it onto its own sheet. They almost invariably want you to do that. I mean, in this question it says save the chart as a separate sheet. When they say that, what they mean is they don't want you to just cut and paste it and go, I don't know, chart, call it column chart, okay, you know, and then just paste it in there. They don't want that. Okay, so let's get rid of that. What they want you to do is move this onto its own sheet, and the way to do that is you can either go to chart design and there's a move chart option on the top right. What I prefer to do is just right click. You may need to do this twice to get the full menu up. Right click, select move chart, and then make sure you've got new sheet ticked up here, and then give that a meaningful name. So I'm going to call that column chart. Keep your capitalization simple. Column chart. And now what that's done, maximize this screen up, is it's actually created a new sheet here, and it's created what's called a chart sheet. So there's no grids on this one or anything like that. The chart fills up the screen. This is what I want. I need to put a chart title in. I mean, the chart looks good, so I'm happy with that. The chart title is going to be basically the question. Create a suitable chart to show the, and I can put in here group costs for each attraction. There you go. I want to make that look like a title, so I'm going to just click on the box or where the text is once. That will select the text box. Go back to home, and then we can make that a couple of sizes bigger. I tend to, with these, I make them bold, italic, and underline. Then there's no dispute about it being a page tile. I need to also add some axis tiles there, and these are going to be again what was I told to put in my thing. So one was the group cost, and the other one was the attraction. And I'm using the word that they use in the question. I find that quite important because then they can't mark you wrong if you know. So instead of saying money or income or something like that, I'm going to just put group cost. And that's it. So I just need to format that to make it look different to the text around it. So I'm going to bump that up a couple of sizes, bold and italic. I'm not putting underline on these. And there we have it. If you're asked to put a footer into a chart, you have to do it by going to Insert, Header and Footer, and then I would go to Custom Footer, and then you've got 3 boxes there, so you can just put your name in there. Okay, yeah, that's how you have to do it if you're doing a chart. Purely because you don't have these aren't enabled, these views, so you can't change view there. But if I go to file and print with the chart on show, you can see it's put my name in there.